Welcome to the FrequentSEE Network. Frequent, capital S, capital E, self-empowering experts giving you a self-empowering experience, sharing authentic connections about sound, light, energy, frequency, vibration, and most of all, love. There is nothing more authentic than being the love that you are. You are invited to join us in our freaky side of life, where you can change your frequency and upgrade your life. We are 4 generations of women empowering you to love your life even more. Here we flow.
So this is something I didn't know and something that I had actually have been struggling with in the past. Some of my health issues have been because of it and not understanding this. So anytime we take, well, let's start with the word sugar. Sugar comes from the Latin root, well, it's French, sur, which means secure. Back in like 2017, I had hired a mentor, and I was going and speaking at this health conference, and she said, you need to put together a CD of your experience. And I knew innately that I needed to do that. However, she challenged me and told me that was my homework, and I was speaking in the next 2 days. So that night I sat down to get all of my information out, and nothing was helping me to bounce it out of me. It was just like, well, how do I structure it, and how do I get it onto like a CD so that it's beneficial? You know, if I'm going to charge $5 for a CD, you know, I desire it to be valuable. I sat there and I immediately, I told my husband, I'm like, Kyle, I need you to go get me a box of donuts. I just like, I could feel this like desire of just, I need sugar. And what I really needed, the energetic, was security, to feel secure in my knowledge, to feel secure in how to get it out. And I wish I had conscious language more then to really just tell myself, no, you don't need that false security, because that's what the word literally means, sugar. You require to just feel secure in what's happening right here, right now. And so using languaging of like, okay, I am secure in my knowledge, and I am secure in creating this CD. And now that I have my CD created, how do I feel? So, you know, using all those kind of techniques. So I've gone up and down like this, like ever since high school. I was an athlete. I went to college and gained 100 pounds. And then ever since having babies, it dropped it because I couldn't eat for 4 months, and then had my baby, had to get my liver was congested. Like I tried gallbladder cleanses, got hundreds of gallbladders out, but within 8 months, like I thought I was going to die. I was going to explode. So I had to get it taken out. And this is all correlated with this thing. So I just was studying about metabolics. I came across a short 3-minute video that talked about how insulin is released to the 30 and 40 trillions of our cells when we're going to input sugar. And it's there as a catalyst to save our cells and to make sure that they don't get poisoned by the sugar, and to let it in, right? So our pancreas sends this message of giving insulin to the cells. Well, our cells, if there's too much insulin released, that's also a problem. Then the cell will send the signal of like, no more insulin, like they become insulin resistant. And so it sends the signal back that it's not receiving it. Then the pancreas sends more, because it's like, no, you have to have this. You have to have this. And so essentially, we are working against ourselves in that cycle of false security, which of course it's not outside of us, right? So something that I didn't know was that insulin is a master hormone, and that when insulin is out of whack, estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, all of those will be out of whack too. I did not know that. Insulin is our master hormone. So you've got, yeah, I know, super cool, right? So then there's 3 different ways that we begin to like pretty much make because our liver, which is our seat of our our life, right? Live, it's to live. Our desire and willpower to live. And our pancreas is over our security. So they begin to get sick and break down when we're not believing in our security or our will, our life. And that kind of comes into play. But the three main kicks in the butt to our pancreas and liver is, number one are the enriched kind of flours, because the vitamins have been taken out, and so it's a simple sugar now, a simple carb. And then they put all the vitamins back in, but they're synthetic. So it's not really benefiting us. So anything enriched, are like those kind of flours. Number two is the actual fructose and sugar, like even fruit sugar. This is where I was like, oh my gosh, this is the information that could have helped me, because having knowledge just like raises your awareness. So do you know how much sugar an adult male is meant to have, that the pancreas can actively, like, yes, say it.
Like 3 tablespoons would be.
Yeah, 5 teaspoons.
And people eat a cup a day when they're drinking their Coke and soda. They drink 3 cups of sugar in a day.
So which equates to about 25 grams. So, because, when you look at the back of ingredients list, I had to do all this math so that I knew, what I was sharing to my kids, so that they could look at the back of things and know. Yeah. So that's like a few apples and an orange or banana, right? Just a few handfuls of things that are insulin. If we go over that, then we're putting our hormones out of whack, and we become a moaning whore. Hormones. The hormones. Just kidding.
I love it.
Which I have felt like recently. When I looked up the word insulin, it was a guy named by the last name of insulin or something named it, but it meant island, meaning that there was just a few components that were missing to have this. Anyways, I should look it back up, but it means island. Insulin does. So when I was teaching my kids, I was sharing with them that one soda pop has over 60 grams of sugar in it, and an adult male is meant to have 25. So my children, cut it in half, like, it's wild. So what we're having an epidemic of right now is an epidemic of what was COVID? Oh, fear. Okay, so it drives our insecurity, so that we're going to now drive to sugar. When we go and get insurance done, guess what happens? It's win-win for them, because the premium's higher if an individual has insulin resistance and diabetes, right? So it's all playing in this. If you look in every single ingredient, why is sugar added? You start to see this false sense of security and giving up our sovereignty. So here we go, teaching my kids this of like, all right, so 25 grams, there's balance. Our bodies need sugar. Might not ever need the processed white sugar, but hey, it's enjoyable, right? I like sugar. I like donuts. I like all those things. I'm just going to have to be more aware of like, okay, maybe not a whole box of donuts, maybe half of one, maybe not even a whole half, maybe just a bite. Who knows how many micrograms is in one donut, but that's doable for me, because I know, like, okay, because I can be secure and I can enjoy, like, and our brains do need sugar, fruit to run off of. So there's a balance there. We had a few days, and I watched my kids, like, they were looking at things being like, oh, I can have half of this. So they drink half of it and enjoy it and like go throughout their day, satisfied. Well, we had a big, what do you call it? Barbecue on Saturday night. There was cake, there was soda pop, there was all these different things. And my one son, he's going to be in 8th grade, and he's playing All-Stars. He took it to heart, and he's like, I just had one piece of cake and it was good. I didn't need more than that, because I know what's happening inside of my body when I do that. And then I crash and I have all of these things, right? Sugar on the skin is acne. Sugar on your pancreas is insulin resistance and diabetes. Sugar on your liver is fatty liver. Sugar in your ovaries is polycystic ovaries. Sugar on your brain is Alzheimer's and dementia. So just depending on where your body needs to throw the excess sugar once it becomes insulin resistant, that's how it manifests for certain people. For me, this is so interesting. For me, my cells begin to trap it. And what happens? I gain weight so fast. So fast. I was so curious. I'm like, why the heck? I was eating healthy, but let me show you my little organic licorice here. Look at the back. One serving, which is 10 of them, is 13 grams of sugar. So not the whole little bag here, like I've been doing sometimes when I'm feeling insecure and thinking that it's okay because it's organic. No, it's still sugar. And the deeper thing is reclaiming my sovereignty, reclaiming my will, reclaiming my security. So that was my little class with my kids. And the next day was crazy to see those who like went over anger issues, annoyance issues. It was so wild. I was like, you little shit. Like, I'm like, I taught you this, and now I have to do the repercussions. But it was really cool. So that's my findings. And yeah, the other interesting thing is that because insulin is overall it's the master hormone, testosterone shots that males are really, into, especially in their 30s, just to stay strong. It is the same frequency equivalent as diabetes. So that's why they say when they get testosterone shots, there is a side effect and potential diabetes, because it's the same frequency equivalent when I look it up in Sound Health. So
that information is so huge. What a beautiful expression of knowledge that you've gained, and understanding, and to go in and accept. I'm doing the 5 levels. You talked about awareness. Awareness. So you had something aware around sugar doing some weird things on us, and then you sought out the knowledge and brought yourself into understanding. And now, it's great to be accepting of, yes, sugar, a certain amount is healthy for us. And if we go over, we're moving into, a difficult time, a challenging time with our health and well-being. And then I'm thinking, love, I remember in conscious language when, the sweetness of life is being drained. So usually the sweetness of life goes away when we're in fear, feeling insecure. There's no sweetness in life when you're living from that place.
Yeah.
And another thing you brought up that I'm going to address is you talked about for yourself, for your own self, we have your fatty tissue, your adipose. What's so beautiful about your fatty tissues is they're there to absorb the toxins you can't get rid of, right? So that, what's going on with the toxicity of the sugar, too much sugar uptake, okay, and all that turns into. So you are, because it's not going away somewhere, your tissue is expanding because it's pulling in all of that toxin, and it is increasing. You're not getting more fat. It's just more toxic chemical thing. The cleanup, the adipose is cleaning up, and each fatty cell is expanding because they're filling up, to save your life, so that your organs, your fatty tissue takes care of your organs. It takes on all the toxins in order to protect your organs so that they can work.
Yeah. It's keeping me secure. So you
Keeping
know
you
how my
secure.
inner telling understands that, and yet, you know, so
Yeah.
ask me how much I've lost this past week.
How much?
5
How do you-
pounds. So fast. Just staying within 25 grams of sugar.
Wow. Yes. And I was just getting ready to start my back to a way that I used to eat when I was such a beautiful shape and my body was in its perfection, is when I cut out sugar and only allowed, something, so I have that little bit of sweetness, because I enjoyed it. And I've always say it's not the chocolate cake that hurts you. It's actually what you think about the chocolate cake and what it's doing to you. Because most people go, oh gosh, I just ate a chocolate cake, and we give ourselves a hard time. When we do that, we also feel insecure. We also feel like we let ourselves down. Those are the chemicals that we start making that are toxic for us.
And it drives you to just forego everything and have more.
Yes. Yes. Woo! That's wonderful.
Okay. So there's this huge drive right now about parasite cleanses and parasites, right? Why do you think? So our bodies naturally should take care of the parasites in our systems. If there's an overgrowth of candida or certain bugs get in, our immune system should take care of them naturally. But why isn't it? Because we're providing too much feed for them. That means we're just going over the sugar limit. So it all comes back to this beginning part of the insulin being out of whack, the master hormone.
Yes, and it's interesting. I have had several of the women who I've done the voice profile for, and many of them are showing up with candida. And the candida and parasite frequency to harmonize that. I mean, the candida and parasites are the same frequency equivalent.
Oh, interesting. What's
And
the reciprocal?
What's the reciprocal? I don't remember. Yeah, choose to remember. Also, my brain, I think I had some sugar earlier. Because it does have a little effect on the brain. And that's one thing I'm really noticing. So I'm really excited to begin to pay attention to the sugar situation. What a perfect timing for you to come up and share this with us.
It's been so much easier for me to stay consistent because I was doing this and not understanding that it was, linked to feeling insecure in certain aspects and areas. And I would love to actually write down all of the different areas that might show up for an individual so they can check themselves when they're feeling the craving to have security. But there's one little trick, and I told my kids this. When you eat a protein first prior to having your sugar, it cushions the spike. So that's a great way to look at, like, I wanted something sweet. Even after I had just shared that with them, I'm like, oh, I need something sweet. And so I like my mango slices. They're one serving, 25 grams. So that I was like, holy cow, it's not a whole lot. So I went and ate some pumpkin seeds and some almonds, just had a few, and then ate like 3 pieces. And I think a serving's like 10 or 11, like little slices. And it was just perfect. I'm like, I love feeling secure in my knowledge. So it's been very easy for me. What I'm saying is I wish I had this like sooner when I was my children's age. That's why I shared it with them, because it would have alleviated so much of this, you know, like if I understand what's happening in my body, how I can, work the system to still enjoy and yet stay within and keep all of my hormones in balance, how much better I'm going to feel.
Yes.
I love all of that so much. I'm working on the sugar thing for sure. It's crazy whenever I had a business coach and I like was having crazy mood swings. So what I should have known it was the mood. And she was like, I don't think that you're like depressed. I think it's your diet. I want you to see this dietitian. And she told me that, yeah, she made me put a protein like first thing in the morning because I was doing like iced coffee and croissant and all bread, like you were saying, all that enriched stuff. She said it like digests as, yeah, and it spikes your insulin, and that then I would have like cortisol spike. And she's like, that's why you're like crashing in the afternoon. It's crazy how much all of that affects us, and everything has sugar.
Well, I have found when I go off of sugar completely, it works better for me, because if I just take a bite or two every day, we have desserts provided for us every evening. Um, and that does not get rid of the cravings, because you're still addicted when you still have a bite or two.
Yes, and just think where you are and what you've been talking about with these people in the facilities that you've been in, that where you live, and the people that you're with the Alzheimer's and dementia and things like that. And probably when they're most active in their, anger,
Yeah,
and things like that, is probably just pay attention after they've had sugar.
and they have it every day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of carbohydrates, and a lot of that turns to sugar.
Exactly.
Right?
Baked potatoes has a lot of sugar in it.
Yes. Can you imagine if instead of giving drugs, that you just changed the diet
Yeah.
and
Well,
remove the
yeah.
sugar?
The foods are drugs, and then you're taking drugs to counteract the foods that are basically addictive drugs.
What a beautiful conversation that we just had and continue to have when we come together. And that's why we have chosen to have this opportunity to be with others and to share our wisdom in the different generations that we have, that we're all constantly learning. And through our learning and educating ourselves and being open to receiving new information, this is what keeps us wise and young. This is where
I love Josie's laughing.
Yes.
I'm thinking you don't know the half of it. Yeah.
And how cool for you to be sharing the knowledge with your kids, Kristen. Like, that's so powerful.
Yeah, and it's giving them a choice of understanding. And I told them, if you would like to be a high performer in life, this is what high performers follow. If not, that's okay too. You'll just probably feel a little bit more tired. Maybe, you'll have other elements that you'll go through because it gets out of whack, and that's okay. Like, it's just your choice for whatever journey you choose. And if you do desire to be in a high performer, meaning like in athletic, because my kids are athletes, they just love the sports. Like this will put you in that percentage if you choose to follow it and be disciplined, being a disciple unto your word. Yeah.
And it also shows, Kristen, that it's a testament to you that you've done some good parenting, or they would not listen. It sounds like they're listening and they're applying what you're telling them, which is a blessing.
Certain areas they listen.
Yes, but that's the beautiful thing, is you lovingly release them to their own ability to decide for themselves, which is giving them free will and choice, to claim that for themselves is beautiful, beautiful. And that's why I love, remembering from our wellness experience, my oldest son, bringing that up and saying that to everyone and he was the only male that was there in this group of 22 women that were there, and saying, you know, when we were asking, I love Mia, we'll have to go ahead and share this right now. Mia, for our grounding ceremony, she asked the question, have you ever been grounded by your parents in your life? And if you have, we're going to share those moments, right? Have you ever been grounded was the question. And people were like going, we weren't sure at first, you know, that the grounding ceremony, how fun that was. It did ground us all in, and they went around the room and people shared their experiences of when they got in trouble, right? And when they got grounded, or if they didn't get grounded. My son, when it came to him, he says, my mother never grounded me because she lovingly released me to my own lessons, so that I had the experience of knowing that what was right and wasn't, you know, for me, put me in my place so that I could make a wiser decision in the future. So he had to deal with his own, you know, consequences. And that was so helpful for many of the women who are mothers that were there, and some of the challenges that they were going through. So that moment that my son stood up and said that was a healing moment for a couple women who were there. So yes, Kristen, you're providing that for your children to have a moment to make a difference in other people's lives, just for them talking about you and how you share your information and education, and allow them to either receive it or say, that's not for me, and not get mad because they're not doing it your way.
Well, thank you.
Yes.